Um, this is my piece. Any questions that I can answer for you? Don't be shy. Any questions? So ITSM, so to the person asking about ITSM, ITSM is IT service management. IT service management is a number of different processes that follows a service management life cycle. And there is a framework called ITIL, which is Information Technology Infrastructure Library, that supports and or enables what IT service management wants to accomplish. There was another question on the mainframe. Just a second, please. So I answered IT service management and a mainframe. What are the tools that are helpful for DevOps? So a few slides earlier, I showed you a whole bunch of different tools. You really have to pick and choose from that list and communicate with the vendor to see if they actually do support mainframe. Most likely they do, unless if it's really an old legacy system, then you're going to be in trouble. So your best bet is to take a look at the list there and see which ones may be useful. You can do a little bit of Googling on it, and then you can communicate with the vendor to give you more details on whether it's compatible with mainframe or not. So how it works in DevOps, okay, IT service management. So IT service management is working as an example in terms of configuration management, in terms of change management, in terms of incident and problem management, all of which are processes that are very much needed, within the DevOps world. I mean, it's a long discussion to map what IT service management and ITIL does specifically in comparison to DevOps, but all of these processes are needed to manage your DevOps venture end to end, whether you are introducing an application and how you are coding and eventually delivering or testing, delivering, deploying. It's also supported by service transition in IT service management, change management in IT service management, validation and testing in IT service management, all of which support your DevOps proposition. Any other questions? So DevOps, whether it's cloud or no cloud, whether you are using a conventional infrastructure or whether you are using basically the cloud, the concept of DevOps is not really about the technology itself. It's about how you're going to be working together, right, as teams, and how you're going to collaborate together. So in other words, I don't want you to come in and throw your code over the fence and tell me, figure it out while you're running away, right? It doesn't really matter what technology you're using. The automation it becomes, more of an enabler, right? And this is really what you need to consider. What kind of tools you're going to put in place to automate the overall approach. Any other questions? So I have a number of them. Give me, I'll take them one at a time. One says you recommend implementing automation to help change the culture. Changing the culture needs to be done prior to any tool, right? The idea as to how we're going to work together, right, is going to be integrated in people's mind before any tool. The automation is going to assist, is going to help later on in terms of the activities, themselves. But it's not because I have automation, then the culture is going to change. So you need to actually do it backwards. You need to change the culture first and then introduce automation. How DevOps roles and responsibilities in infrastructure and planning. What tools we have for infrastructure. So my answer on the tool is the same as before. You have to go back to the tool slide and pick and choose and see how or which one. But there is Jenkins as an example. There is Puppet as an example. Those are very famous in the DevOps world, so you can fall back on that. The specific roles and responsibilities are not defined within the tool. You have to define that, and you would have to adapt the tool accordingly.